All right. Next thing I'm going to cover real quick is favoriting effects, because I didn't know about this for the longest time either. And once I found out about it, it was absolutely incredible. So if I open my effects library, I'm going to close my media pool. You'll see this little favorites area over here in the bottom corner. By default, this will obviously be empty. I have put all of these effects into my favorites. Super easy to do. You just click the little star over here, and then it moves it down here. And I don't know how to unfavorite things. Oh, you just unclick the star. That makes sense, right? So like I have a drop shadow favorited. I have a vignette favorited. I have the text plus favorited, because that's how I make all my text. Adjustment clips are a story for another time. They're super useful. If you're not using them, God, you should start. Blanking fills are nice also, and I don't know if you guys know what blanking fills are, but I'll show you over on this shorts timeline. Let's get rid of this. So let's say we want this clip on a vertical timeline, but we want to show the whole thing. Well, that kind of looks like crap, you know, because it's got the black on the bottom and the top. If I throw a blanking fill on it, it will kind of like put a reflection or like a faded version of it, and you can adjust all of that stuff over here in... Oh, I hate when it does that. You can adjust all that stuff over here in the inspector. So I always turn the crop down. I blend the edges a little bit more, and I always blur the background a little bit more. And then depending on what the shot is, I'll change the fade color and add more fade to it. There's a lot you can do with it over here. And then again, if you go back to the video section, no, that was the effects tab, by the way. You'll find any effects that you put onto a clip in the effects tab. If you go back to the video, it's got all your normal transform tools here. And then if I start zooming in, you can see the background changes also. Wah, 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 wah. Thing is either the adjustment clip. Oh man. All right, I'm going to tell you about adjustment clips because you guys need to know. Adjustment clips are incredible. I use them for a lot of stuff. If I grab this adjustment clip and I put it here, you can see literally nothing happened, right? If let's say I want to zoom in this part, just that part of the timeline where the adjustment clip is sitting. If I click on the adjustment clip, I zoom in, let's reposition it. And now I play this clip. It's only going to zoom in where that adjustment clip is, and then it'll zoom back out automatically. Boom, done. Okay, let's say I want to blur it just where that adjustment clip is, the Gaussian blur. And we'll bump the strength up for exaggeration. As soon as the playhead hits that adjustment clip, it blurs just that area of the video. I can then adjust it if I only want it to be a little bit. It'll only blur where that adjustment clip is on the timeline. It can gradually zoom. Okay, do you know what a dynamic zoom is? Any of you guys? I expect a whole bunch of no's to come across. Oh, you all know. Okay. So I put this adjustment clip on here. I turn on my dynamic zoom over here. And by default, it's going to automatically zoom out. I don't know why. Oh, I always click swap. The one thing most people don't know about here with Resolve is you can adjust how much zoom it's giving. So if you open up this menu here, where you got that transform overlay, you can go to the dynamic zoom option, and now these two boxes appear. So what these two boxes are, as I hit swap, you're going to kind of see the green is where the clip is going to start, the red is where the clip is going to end. So if I want this to only zoom a little bit in, I'm going to make that red a lot smaller, or a lot bigger, so that the area is a lot smaller. But if I want it to zoom a lot, it's going to stop zooming right there. This is extremely exaggerated. And then as soon as it gets done, that's a really cool clip too. It's going to pop back out. Will, you want to talk? Do you have a question?
Oh. Um, I was just gonna say I knew about the dynamic zoom,
Mhm,
and then the adjustment clip once you mentioned it,
mhm.
but together, oh my gosh, that's game changing.
Game changing. So now then, like, I
I
will.
was, like, cutting clips where I was trying to have the dynamic zooms, like, begin and end and stuff, and it was so frustrating.
Sure,
This is so
sure.
much easier.
Yeah, there's so much you can do with these adjustment clips. Like, you'll end up with a bunch of them on your timeline, but like, as another example, I'm going to change the color on just the adjustment clip. So we're going to make it
I
black and
should have been
white.
taking notes.
It's all going to be recorded. You're good. No worries.
I know.
So I made the adjustment clip. I changed the color on the adjustment clip black and white. But what that didn't change is the color of the actual clip. So if I disable the adjustment clip, you can still see the clip underneath it is still um it'll still be colored. Oops.
Yeah, I wanted to say you're right. You'll end up with a bunch on your timeline, but it doesn't destroy the initial clip.
It doesn't affect your
And
original
then
footage, no.
and then you can just rename the adjustment clips so you can see at a glance what they would, what they're doing,
Yep.
and you
Basically,
can color code it too, right?
yep, you can change the color
That's
of
a
any of these
game
clips.
changer, dude.
Total game changer.
I've seen that so many times and never knew what it was. That's so amazing. I just wanted to jump in real quick.
Oh,
That's awesome.
that's totally fine. Please do. These adjustment clips are crazy game changing. Like, I was not using them for the longest time, and as soon as I started using them, it made things so much easier, especially color grading. Because, like, for example, now I just want this to. I want it to fade. Let's say we want it to fade to black and white. So I just drag this handle in.
That's so amazing, dude.
Just like that. Super simple.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've cut up a clip into tiny little sections and then started moving stuff around to try to get an effect. And then you lose the integrity of the original clip. You lose
Yep.
the length of it or whatever else. This prevents all of that.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah,
like
and
idiot proof. That's so
anything
cool.
anything you can do to a regular clip, any effect you can put on a regular clip, you can put onto an adjustment clip. It's like, I just wish I could have more examples. Oh, I got blur up here. So a colored border, you know. So I put the colored border on. Let's put the corner radius up. Oh, that's nice too. It'll kind of like cut off the background. We'll make it nice bright green. So as soon as that comes across, it'll put the border on. You can fade it to put the border on. Super simple. Easy. Adjustment clips, I'm telling you. I was not going to cover adjustment clips. Chili, you said release my notes. Half of the stuff I'm talking about is not even in my notes. So you'll just get the video. You'll have to take your own notes. The camera shake thing is interesting. It's use it when you wanna or when you need to thing, but there's an earthquake while you're trying to play chess or something like that. So this transform node, this transform tool, I really want to tell you more about, but I can't right now because I don't know as much about it. But I know that I am learning about this one. I know there's a lot of things you can do to this transform or with this transform effect. Like, for example, this, and then that's a transform effect, and then if I go back to my video and I don't like that like positioning of it, I can move it within the window, or I can zoom it in and out a little bit more. Again,
Question.
there's more that you can do with that. I just haven't explored it enough. What's up?
So how you have it right now with the two clips on top of each other, but you can see both. If you
Yep.
put an adjustment clip on top, what would that be doing that for?
Both. So the adjustment clip will affect everything underneath it.
Oh, okay.
So
Is there
for
a way to
example, if I
attach it to
want
a specific clip?
arrange your layers.
Okay.
So like if I want it to affect, you can see that I've got the adjustment clip in the middle and it's affecting the clip underneath it of the woman, but the chest piece on top of it is still in color. Does that make sense?
Yep.
The-
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one thing I want to cut in real quick. One thing you
Yep.
could do here is if you had multiple layers, but say you wanted, like, just for example, I don't know why you would want this, but if you did, say you wanted just the back layer to be blurred,
Mhm.
and then you wanted both to be, transition to black and white. You could do 2 adjustment clips there,
You
right?
sure could. So if let me reset this.
Well, I was just thinking about 1. 2, when we're getting crazy.
But you could, right? And it would
Yeah.
get the blur would hit both of them, or the black and white would hit both of them. The blur would only hit the background in that example, right?
Yep, that's
It's
exactly
only
right.
going to get everything below it. That's cool.
blue.
So if you want to
So-
exclude something from being affected by an adjustment clip, just make sure it's above it.
Yes, exactly.
That's very cool, dude. And
So
the way I
am
would have
turning
tried
that
to
down.
do something like that before would bog down as I was trying to preview it because of how stacked it would have to be. This is so simple,
Yeah, so like this adjustment clip,
Yeah.
it's
It
got the
worked.
blur on it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll exaggerate it a little bit.
Yeah. It worked. Wow, that's so cool.
Yep. Just like
Like I said, I
that.
don't know when you'd ever need it, but if you did, it's pretty intuitive,
Yeah, definitely. Adjustment clips are crazy. Okay, so adjustment clips, that was a pop-up thing that I wasn't planning on talking about, but anyway, it's awesome. So we talked about it. Let me talk about the trim edit mode. This is going to be quick. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's very helpful. With these super short little clips, it's not going to help. It's not going to be very intuitive for me. So we're going to shorten some of those. So the trim edit mode is either right here, or if you press T on your keyboard, you can see my cursor changed. I'm navigating between the regular edit mode, selection mode with A, and then trim edit mode is T. T-A, T-A, T-A. So this is just kind of a different way to edit. So like, for example, this clip, let me unlink these quick. This video clip here, you can, when I click on it, you can kind of see that the white box appears on the left. So that's the entire start of the clip. So what I can do, this is, I believe it's called slipping. Yeah. So what I can do, and you can see the viewer on the top right there, is it's slipping the clip between what part of it, but it's still keeping the length in the timeline, the length of the clip in the timeline. So like now I moved it all the way to the start of the clip, and now it's at the middle of the clip. And now it's at the end of the clip. That's one way I use it. I use that a lot. The other thing I use is for adjusting where the cut is made. So say I want this cut to be moved a little bit further. It'll move everything along this timeline further, whereas if I was just doing this with the regular selection mode, it would only affect that one clip. Same thing going backwards. I can drag the whole thing backwards, whereas if I'm doing it with the regular selection mode, it'll only drag that one clip backwards. The other one would be, I use this in combination a lot with the comma and period. So like, if I want this cut a little bit off to the left, the comma and period will just move it one brain fart. What's it called? It's one dash.
Frame.
One frame. Yep, that's it. One frame off
Hey.
to the left or right.
Sorry, I wanted to cut in real quick. Were you just adjusting something? Was I seeing that make a J cut with your audio as you did that?
Yeah.
Look at
So you can make
that.
J cuts like that too.
That's so crazy, dude.
And then the same thing would work for your audio too. I
Wow.
believe. Like if I wanted to do an L cut, I could do it like that also. Yep. So trim edit mode, very useful. There was one other thing with that. I can't remember what the other thing was, and apparently I didn't put it on my notes.